It's very evolution, you know, it's evolved.
No, T-Grog, I can go anywhere you want in the whole realm of human knowledge. I'm happy to go there with you. Where would you like to go?
Well, I'm just saying, why doesn't your position collapse into agnosticism or
because I don't require someone to hand me a system in order to test it. I don't feel like I have to be given a system in order to test everything. I feel like I've been given everything I need, and I'm attuning that system, which is me, the instrument that I am.
How about your intuitions?
No, I have measurement tools. My body is enormously calibrated to measure things. Yeah.
And could your body measurements be
anywhere
wrong?
you want in the whole realm of human knowledge? I'm happy to go there with you. Where would you like to go?
Well, I'm just saying, why doesn't your position collapse into agnosticism or
because I don't require someone to hand me a system in order to test it. I don't feel like I have to be given a system in order to test everything. I feel like I've been given everything I need, and I'm attuning that system, which is me, the instrument that I am.
So it's your intuitions.
No, I have measurement tools. My body is enormously calibrated to measure things. Yeah.
And could your body measurements be wrong?
So this is how bad I have failed this evening's throws for mind control. Dum dum da dum da da dum da da dum da da dum dum da dum. Dum dum da dum. It's that bad. And whoosh.
YouTube thumbnail. Pageau Shapiro. This is called Pageau Shapiro because it's a train of thoughts that began on the dark side of fairy tales over on the Ben Shapiro channel with Jonathan Pageau. This guy and this guy in the chair over here So we're going to be talking about that and then follow the train all the way to where it derails on this YouTube thumbnail. Grim Grizz live stream thing you're on now. Welcome.
Oh, shoot, where was I going with this? Attention, attention.
In a little bit, we're going to have to do a thing called Savings Throws, where you are going to have to make a choice. And prepare yourselves for that with this branding.
You have two grandchildren right there. And I can't see that a machine will ever feel toward any of its
Why not?
creatures the way you feel about them. That's the one thing that I can't get.
Well, I think I could set it up for you, because I'm certain that if I do it, there is a mechanism that can do it. If I can manage to state that in a finite and unambiguous manner, then I think it can be done. And I see no reason why we can't develop a logical relation in time to come. Granted, it's defective at the present time. Don't shake the table.
I like how he's especially, it's like he sees us for that last moment there. Anyway, hello, it's time for savings throws. Those are against mind control. You're swimming in it, don't you know? Because the words are spelled. You get to choose between survival, social, wisdom, or heart as the basis for your savings throw. I roll the die representing your choice. If the die comes up 10 or higher, you have made your savings throw. If it comes up under 10, you have failed your savings throw. You can get bonuses, +2 for chatting in the Hive Mind chat, +5 for a replay comment, and why not have +7 for a share? 7 for a share, new policy. Anyway, you can have bonuses to your savings throw. Once you choose them, don't you know? Survival, social, wisdom, or heart? Choose. Survivalist, guess what? Even the share bonuses don't apply to a nat one. Nat one, your mind control, full effect today, full effect. Socialist, you got a 6. You got a 6. You could make that with the bonus. Lovers of wisdom, just a Hive Mind chat will do it for you. That's a 9. A 9 for the wisdom kids. Baker's Coven, for the hard folks, you're doing fine even without a bonus. And Indigo kids with a 4. Like the Chambers.
Although this world will devastate you, and rejoice although this world will penetrate you, and rejoice although you will not survive. Rejoice you'll never make it out alive.
Excellent rehearsal, gentlemen.
And rejoice. Your hair, it smells like burning hair. Oh, rejoice. Your nails all got chewed off. Oh, rejoice. And holy fuck, you're bleeding there. Oh, rejoice. You burn your whole beard off. Rejoice despite the fact this world will hurt you. And rejoice despite the fact this world will kill you. And rejoice despite the fact this world will tear you to shreds. Rejoice because you're trying your best.
Hey, I love that one. That's gorgeous. Thank you, brother. Wait, who's that brother?
Andrew Jack.
Just turn my phone off here. Okay.
Happy to be here today with Clara Gaddy, who I met at the Northwest Estuary 2024 Encountering Face-to-Face Conference, the conference with the longest name in the history of the world. And I was fascinated by
unofficially the Pacific Northwest Estuary. Encountering face to face, Blue Church card of the show. Hey, that one. The focus. It's a six of spades. Welcome, everybody. Okay, we're gonna do Shapiro things. Not yet.
What makes you assume that I'm not about to feed you all to the crocodile? What makes you assume that I'm not about to feed you all to the crocodile? What makes you assume that I'm not about to feed you all to the crocodile?
That's very exciting. Hello. I see the assassin.
Assassins have failed.
Did you get that on video?
Mom, I'm not going to.
No, that's I'll show you later.
Look, the gator, obviously.
Yes, okay.
All right, then, here we go. Now, on to deliver on the title of the stream. It's right up here for me, the Pageau Shapiro appearance, right over here. You see the guy on the left is Shapiro. The guy in the TV screen. What? Yeah, in the TV screen is Jonathan Pageau. This is a special series that this man, Ben Shapiro, does on his channel called The Sunday Something Something. Where is it at? No, that's just a commercial. And here, just running from this. This is the teaser opening highlight.
The scene in the opening of the Olympics, it wasn't a political statement. It was presented imagistically in story terms with certain cultural elements. And so we try to answer politically, but when you do that, they just say, well, no, you're misunderstanding. And then they start to gaslight and to shift. What we need to learn to do, and that's what
No, you're misunderstanding. What is I gaslight and I shift? And all mankind is dominated by a sun disk. Domination. To the right. Domination. It is frail. The dream has its own limitation. Let's get back to your dream. What does the dream say?
We need more psychology. We need more understanding of human nature, because the only real danger that exists is man himself.
Domination is frail. The anima is the female element of the male unconscious. As you can tell by the signature that we have our logo or our branding makers make, that was won by Upcycle Club. Watch for the signature. See if you can tell which branding was made by whom. Ups has, just because I play a branding doesn't mean I agree with the claims therein, such as like the only real danger to man is man itself. Because I think those guys that taught man how to farm are pretty suspect. Canadian deck card for the show is the King. the king of the diamonds, and welcome, everybody. This is the Pageau Shapiro stream. YouTube thumbnail. That's what I fed the AI. I said, just give me a YouTube thumbnail. And that's what it gave me, so that's what you get. That's what you get. Okay, more of this now. No, not that. Hey, look at that. You can see the emojis. They don't. Stop it. What? Yes, this one. Where is it at? Here, click play.
That's why I don't talk about politics that much. I talk about stories and I try to tell stories, is because that's the best way to answer these stories that have been with us for millennia and that kind of uphold our civilization. If we can understand them and then present them again to the world in a way that is clear, then those stories win because they're the true story.
Jonathan Pageau is a French-Canadian liturgical artist, writer, and public speaker on religious philosophy, symbolism, and Orthodox Christianity. Pageau first rose to prominence through his popular YouTube channel, The Symbolic World, or his interpretations of mythical patterns have attracted more than 20 million viewers. Pageau is also the founder of Symbolic World Press, a publishing company specializing in high-quality books which aim to revive the beauty.
Well. At this point, I'm mandated by forces beyond this world to share with you instead this Goodreads collection called The Lost Girls by Alan Moore, illustrated by his wife, perhaps, about taking the lovely ladies in such fantasy stories as Alice in Wonderland, Wendy and Dorothy, through well, you know, lefty wizardry.
The list? Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room? I want to cast Magic Missile.
The room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet. I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting Magic Missile. Why are you casting Magic Missile? There's nothing to attack here. I'm attacking the darkness.
Now, you may see if you compare it. Oh, wait, you didn't do it right. All right, where are we at now? The thing of it is this was triggered in me. This the first, I made it through all of the first 10 minutes, 10 whole minutes of this dark side of fairy tales, because I've seen the dark side of fairy tales in this already, but there's been a big nemesis trigger that we're going to have to dive into, because a lot of you are new. And then also we have a nice derailment, thanks to Pastor Paul's from today. You're very, very late on the Magic Missile Parlato. Very, very late. Let's just let this run and breathe a minute.
Here at the Daily Wire, Pageau's spiritual and philosophical insights have been featured in Dr. Jordan B. Peterson's 17-part Exodus seminar, as well as in Jordan's most recent series, Foundations of the West. In today's episode, Jonathan and I discuss the biblical themes that can be found in classical fairy tales like Jack and the Beanstalk, and the important role storytelling plays in establishing our most deeply held cultural norms. Pageau also speaks to the modern uses of symbolism, from the prevalence of conspiracy theories to the real meaning behind the opening ceremony at the Paris Olympics. After all, as I'm fond of saying, politics is downstream from culture, and that makes Jonathan Pageau's work toward the revival of traditional beauty an essential part of our politics today. Stay tuned, and welcome back to another episode of the Sunday Special.
Yeah, that's it. The Sunday Special. That's what I wanted to show you, this part.
Jonathan, it's great to see you.
It's great to see you, Ben.
So let's
see, it's a special thing. It's a special thing he's doing there. Now, The first thing I want everybody to see that bothered me is this. He's sitting in the chair looking at the television, right? And then what happens later? What happens later? We go like we're seeing it like he does, and then there's him, and then but wait for it. Was it like 8 minutes? Oh yeah, right after the commercial.
So we're just publishing the newest version. And Jack's fun because the thing about Jack is at the outset it looks ridiculous. Like it's really difficult to see what the connection. Since I was a child, I love that story, but I was always wondering like how do we get from these different parts of the story to the others, right? But it's actually once you kind of understand it, it's actually it's deeply coherent. And so like a lot of the stories, Jack is a coming of age story at the outset, right? This is also the thing that's difficult about a lot of Puritan interpretation of fairy tales, is they try to get rid of the coming of age and sometimes sexual imagery that's in the fairy tale. By doing that, they miss.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right. Pageau putting the sexual imagery back in Jack.
I listen to him. I think he is telling us the truth. That is indeed what he wants. Those of you who are sort of sniffing for duplicity or grift or dishonesty, I don't smell any of that here. I think he's telling us. I see this guy. I see both of these guys, but I see this guy as being very, very genuine and honest. He is telling us exactly what he thinks.
And now we're going to endure until they switch to the camera angle I'm waiting for.
It's a whole part of it. Now the other part, like the more progressive types, let's say in the 20th century, have tried to emphasize just sexuality. But that's also wrong. It's both. Just like in the Bible, there's a bunch of sexual symbolism, but it's not just about sex. It's about how sexuality can show us a deeper meaning and a deeper participation. So you see that in Jack. So basically Jack doesn't have a father and his mother's poor, right? And so she's the poor woman. She's the widow in the story of Elijah. She's someone who doesn't have anything coming from heaven, to give her an identity, to hold her together. And so,
speaking of widows and how he just said it takes a male figure in a household to hold one together, if you know any Jewish widows or orphans, please have them get in touch with me. I understand they have a direct line to the deity that runs.
So Jack has to trade the cow. He has to trade the feminine for seed. And it happens about at the time that he's at that age where that's going to happen to him, where he's going to kind of leave his mother. His body's going to develop. He's going to discover masculinity. But it's magic seed, but seeds are magic in themselves. Like they don't even have to be magic seeds. They're the difference between a cow that gives you seeds. You have that's gold, right? Much mother. And then when he goes back up, the last thing, as you become closer.
All right. Sorry. Somewhere in this damn thing, they do a camera angle, which is just over Ben's shoulder. So it's like you're sitting next to him on the couch. And that was the creepiest, that was enough. I had to stop and bring that notion to you folks, how creepy things are going on over at the Shapiro show.
I'm not a cat.
There is no agency. We want what's best.
Well, looky here. McMullen, Rascal, and Mills all get a +4 to next stream savings throw for catching me muted. Two gets +2 for not using the emojis. Okay, and so that was the first nemesis trigger that I had, but there was an additional one that came to us today from Pastor Paul when he ran the Damian Walters segment right over here.
And like the collision of matter and antimatter, the collision of our fantasy-soaked culture with this anti-fantasy movie is explosive. Joker isn't a Joker movie. Gen Xers and millennials who remember Vertigo Comics will know what Joker is. The Vertigo Comics imprint was where DC let its best creators mess with its IP to remix Batman, Superman, and the rest of the Pantheon. Vertigo was formed after the success first of Alan Moore's Watchmen, 1985, Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, 1986, and Alan Moore's The Killing Joke, 1988. Remix first of Alan Moore's Watchmen, 1985, Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, 1986, and Alan Moore's The Killing Joke, 1988.
Congratulations, trigger number 2 of the Nemesis trigger, and now, more branding.
Right, so I'm punching out for the day. And then I have a prayer that I say. And I might even ask for God to help me see these things in prayer.
Don't you think there's also a way that gratitude transforms us? I mean, gratitude sort of rewrites the past, changes the story. The more gratitude that we have, the more it sort of transforms our story.
A connection between memory, attention, and prayer. That there's a through line there with those concepts. Do either of you have any thoughts on that, or?
Well, I think these are prayers that we don't even know that we utter. I think that happens, when you get to see a through line, like Michael just described, right? When you get to look back over your life, God willing that you live long enough to be able to do that, and you see that happening, you realize that there is a prayer there that actually came from you, but wasn't prayed by you. At that realization, one utters a prayer of gratitude, right? Because then one is made aware of that process in which they were engaged. And engaged is actually a really good word. It's like a train, You've clicked into something and it's pulling you up that hill and you don't even know.
It's the connection to your wild twin or guardian angel.
The recent events have caused me to return to verbal prayers. There's been an evolution of my prayer history. I used to do it, and then at one point I decided that, it's just your will be done, man. I don't even know. And so I quit. And then there was I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with the praying, so I'll just go feel what's in my heart and broadcast that and let that be my prayer. But recently the events have driven me back to asking for things and requesting things, and part of that process, I started with the Lord's Prayer, and that's a great one. But lead us not into temptation, because we know how that ends. But also one thing that happened was the initial prayer I was invoked into, even though my family was particularly irreligious, was the now I lay me down to sleep prayer. And it's traditional, or as I was taught, that you ask for protection for those you love. And as I reinitiated that practice, it reminded me, I noticed that it was basically you reminding yourself of the people you care about enough to include in that, hey, God, watch out for these guys part. And that I've found to be particularly potent. Even like whether or not the prayers work or there is any actual protection, just the practice of remembering, of bringing to your own mind those that you care enough about to include in that it does. I don't know. For me, I suppose it refocuses me on what has proven to be important over it's the care. It reminds you of the care you have, and if nothing else, perhaps that is potent. It's actually more of a video from Rakow's channel than it is branding, because branding's typically 30 seconds to a minute, but you know. And then the casino deck card for the show is the Queen of Clubs. So we have I get Nemesis triggered by Pageau and Shapiro, who's doing this weird thing with the camera to make you feel like you're sitting next to him on the couch, and it's creepy on the Sunday specials. And then we get the second Nemesis trigger in Pastor Paul's morning delivery from that he recorded yesterday. But I got sidetracked, as we are now, from the Nemesis thing with something this lady said somewhere in this part I'm gonna find now, which is late.
Who many of you are very online people, you know about this stuff. I don't. You can, of course, share your feelings or thoughts in the comments section. But so many of her observations in this video I found to be profound and insightful and really helpful for me.
Anymore, you have to get off. There's something. It's very double-edged. What cancellation is actually.
Well, you've been through the whole ringer of cancellation, because people are talking about cancellation
threats work. Look after enough money. I mean, if you have a family, for example, of course, then you need money to look after your family. So people are very beholden to these material things for good reason, and the reason why, therefore, cancellation threats work is because the threat of economic deprivation is a real one for a lot of people. Very few people are able or willing to say,
Gail.
narcissism and cluster B society, and you know what I mean? Like, this is also part of the discourse, like the political discourse. And that has its pluses and minuses, and you end up with a kind of almost a sort of psychological story where everyone is trying to diagnose everyone else. And there's actually a very good Philip K. Dick novel called Clans of the Alphane Moon, where this is the world in which everybody has their mental health diagnosis.
Yeah, it's hard to explain the book, lady. It was more
at scale.
That is
that last minute,
I guess, would be whether we still have an unconscious, whether there is an unconscious online, or whether there's just this static story of identity that this is who we are. And then it just depends on who can control that narrative. And we know that things like Wikipedia are completely captured. For example, people can write whatever they want pretty much about you. And how do we analyze this sort of game of reputation? It's like everybody's living in the court of Versailles at scale.
That is an amazing image. Like, everybody's living at the court of Versailles at scale.
And there's 9 billion people.
See, the problem, Pastor Paul, is a lot of people don't know what that means. And as such, I took it upon myself to do what everybody is doing these days, as far as I know, and that's asking the robot slaves, what are the key characteristics referenced in the Court of Versailles reference, powered by Grok 2 Mini? Absolute monarchy, centralization of power, elaborate etiquette, I thought was the one that stood out. It said, life at Versailles was governed by a strict rules of etiquette. These rules were designed to keep nobles busy with trivialities, tweet, tweet, preventing them from plotting against the king. Everything from dressing to dining was ritualized. Cultural influence, political intrigue, social hierarchy, economic strain, and decadence. Decadence could all be referenced by such a thing. So I went on over to ChatGPT and I said to it, compare social media to the court of Versailles. And it says visibility and performance, gatekeeping and hierarchy, intrigue and alliances, fleeting power, cultural influence, and constant scrutiny have it all in common with the social media. So that's what he meant when his mind was blown out like this.
Many of whom are online.
Yeah, and the problem with spending more and more time online, even though there's quite a lot of upside, obviously, wouldn't be having this conversation if I didn't have the cool idea to go online, is that it really does kind of make your real life a bit more fragile. I mean, in your case, you said, okay, your real life friendships and the people that admire you for your stand and
I didn't watch that part. What happened was it reminded me going to these robots over here, like the Grok 2 Mini and the Chat GPT, made me realize how close we are, how we are almost there. And where is there? Well, let me show you right after this.
Maybe we're not. Okay. Where are we at? Is there any confusion? What you all think? Monic.
Oh yeah, he's just like, yep. Oh, thanks, man. Go ahead. Oh yeah, he's just like, yep. Oh, thanks, man. Go ahead. Oh yeah, he's just like, yep. Oh, thanks, man. Go ahead. Oh yeah, he's just like, yep. Oh, thanks, man. Go ahead.
The distant bodies souls of the Nephilim who were killed during the flood that gave into human bodies when angels had sex rituals with humans in the antediluvian world, who are now trying to distract human beings from God and seek their own destruction so that humans don't ever get elevated above angels in the age to come. It's not that complicated.
Oh yeah, he's just like, yep. Oh, thanks, man. Go ahead. Oh yeah, he's just like, yep. Oh, thanks, man. Go ahead. Oh yeah, he's just like, yep. Oh, thanks, man. Go ahead. Oh yeah, he's just like, yep. Oh, thanks, man. Go ahead.
So then, of course, there is a level line. The difference between God and us is God always says exactly what he means, or he never can.
So we're almost there. Almost there. Almost where? The singularity? Asks Rascal. No, we're almost here. Here.
You're joking. Perhaps the professor could use your computer. Please.
Computer? Computer? Ah. Hello, computer.
Just use the keyboard.
The keyboard. How quaint.
We're almost to the point where you can just tell the computer to design you an aquarium for big whales. And we're also almost here.
For grabs. They're from the organic stall at the farmer's market?
Sure. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're kind of not talking to Jess.
3.1? What happened?
Him and Gordon split up.
Oh, poor Chess.
No. We're all on Gordon's side.
Sure. Obviously.
So Chess is kissing ass, trying to scrape himself back. Of course, if he drops below 2.5, then it's bye-bye.
And so Defense Against the Dark Arts, like they've been mastering how to turn you into a mindless consumer that buys what they want you to for a long, long time. But if we come together and think together and sense make together, then they'll have to up their game even more. And like, so anybody who's steering the big eye is going to get all of that.
Yes, yeah.
If we can train each other to be the eye stalks and bring it together and cognitively process it before we feed it to him, it'll up his level like by magnitudes. And like everybody gets a little bit more above water if we work together that way. I say 12 monkeys, you'll probably have enough of everything to catch what Paul is looking for and the social clues, the stuff that like Gavin would be oblivious to.
How this could be used to allow people to connect and get past the status game. Beware of practicing your piety before men in order to be seen by them, for then you will have no reward from your Father who is in heaven.
And Mark Jackson asked, what was I watching? And that was from the Black Mirror episode called Nosedive. Nosedive. +4, +2, +2, +4, +4, +2. And then the agency deck card of the show is the 9. 9 of clubs. We'll finish up now with the Nemesis portion of the stream, brought to you by this-little-corner.com. What's this giant disclaimer there? All right. Okay, we'll look up. I, Ryan, am no longer going to maintain this site as of January 2025. It will go offline and no longer be available. This site is open source, and I'm happy to hand off the domain. And if somebody else is wanting to continue maintaining it, but I won't be helping with that, aside from answering minimal questions. I'm not going to teach you how to set up a server, yada, yada. There's no beef or drama, and it's not because I hate TLC or anything like that. I just want to free up resources so somebody else do it if you want to on GitHub. On GitHub, if you want to seize the power of this powerful device, which you can do things like say Nemesis, pow, and then sort by oldest, maybe. No, you filter by, see, whoever controls this device is the de facto landlord of this little corner because he determines who makes this all channels list, like Abacapalia and Andrea with the bangs, or maybe not. See, you get to decide. You have the de facto landlord power. But currently, the symbolic world makes the cut. And if you search for Nemesis under that thing, and then maybe sort by oldest, you'll find what I'm looking for right here. Oh, the second result from occultism and psychedelics to Christian art. At about, see, full transcript, 42. Hey, come on. 42. But not 40. Oh, come on. What? Yes, like that. Okay. Whoa. All right, right there. PDF, where he says PDF, I'm sure.
PDF right now. It might not be there yet, actually, but I'll send it to you right now.
Yeah, I'd be interested just because that's the comics is something that I've been kind of diving into.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
we're working on the comic
awesome.
now. I mean, I'm not the artist. It's someone else. But I wrote it with my brother, and so yeah, I'm excited to see. I think the potential of comics is really great for someone who's interested in symbolism, and it's been taken by the dark side, I would say. You've got people like Alan Moore, who's just has such an amazing grasp on symbolic laying out of symbolic structures within a page, and so it's like I just see him as my nemesis or something. Like we need.
Dum, dum, dum. And then historically, I leaned really hard into that with this. No, what? No. Anyway, I kept bothering Jonathan Pageau about it because Alan Moore has an apocalypse guide called Promethea with a lot of symbolism of Masonry and whatnot, as well as some interpretations of the Kabbalic, path. And here's a piece of that prophecy I leaned heavy into back in the day.
'Tis then card 20 comes to play. You totally redid the tarot deck for this. The alien once called Judgment Day. Apocalypse. As worlds and seen. Need only revelation mean. Our world of ideas set alight. By information fierce and bright. Interestingly enough, the bottom says Crowley, when not telling jokes, this aeon Harpocrates evokes. World's end is ruled then by his rod. Harpocrates, the silent god.
In magic because he was working rough environments where he was apt to be heckled. And Teller just found if he was quiet, they grew.
Anyway. And so eventually I handed Pageau that document that you saw in that video on the stage in the hopes that since he'd spoken into existence the Nemesery, and since he's doing his little comic book thing over here, his fairy tale thing. Where's the ad for it? Oh, anyway, in here somewhere. There it is. Since he's doing this thing, which is nemesis to this thing, he should lean into it, right? And he's not. And there's the nemesis story. And now here's the end of the train of thoughts. I hope you felt virtually not alone and love me. What?